Hello everyone, my name is Kunrez and my job is to make web development super easy for you. So you don't repeat the mistakes that I made while learning how to code and save your time. Today we are going to learn Flexbox. Flexbox is a layout model that allows you to create flexible and responsive design with ease. It works by distributing space among items in a container, and it's perfect for building one-dimensional layouts, either horizontally or vertically.
There are a few terms that you need to understand before we go to understand Flexbox. Number one is main axis. Main axis is the primary direction in which flex items are laid out. Second one, cross axis is the perpendicular direction to the main axis. Main start is the beginning edge of the main axis. Cross start is the beginning edge of the cross axis. Main end is the ending edge of the main axis. Cross end is the ending edge of the cross axis. Main size, the width or height of a flex item along the main axis. Cross size, the width or height of a flex item along the cross axis. These terms are essential in understanding and using Flexbox to create flexible and responsive layouts in CSS.
Let's go to the VS Code and see how it works. So in the HTML file, I have a flex container, and inside the parent, I have 6 items, or you can say 6 child items, which I have named as flex items. Let's have a look at the CSS. I have some properties that will make items look like this. This is just for visual representation. Let's scroll down a little bit and see the actual working of Flexbox. So first of all, there are two kinds of properties. Number one is parent. So it's like telling parents. So it's like if you want to move someone's children, you will ask their parent. So if I want to apply something to all of them, I'll just simply tell the parent there, which is represented by this purple line. I'll simply go with flex container. We turn on Flexbox by setting the display property to flex. I'll say display, and the property is going to be, now the parent container is in flex. If I right click over here and go to inspect, now you can see the flex has been turned on this parent container. I'll close this and it will go back. Now as you can see, the items are flowing from left to right. If I want to change the direction, I'll simply say flex direction column. Now you can see they will flow from top to the bottom. By default, the value of flex direction is row. I can also say row reverse. Now you can see they are starting from right and moving towards the left side. I'll simply comment this line by pressing command or control /. The next property that we have is flex wrap. By default, flex items try to fit in a single line, but you can control their wrapping behavior using this property. It can take 3 values, and the values are going to be no wrap, wrap. Now if I decrease the size, now you can see there is a no wrap. But if I say wrap and I'll increase the number of flex items from here, I'll select it, I'll press Alt or Option, Shift and bottom key. Now you can see if I decrease the screen size, they are moving in the next line. This is because of flex wrap. If I comment this out and I show you the behavior again, now you can see they are shrinking and overflowing but not moving to the next line. This is the power of flex wrap. I'll comment this out, and the next property is justify content. This property aligns flex items along the main axis. It allows you to distribute space between or around the flex items. Let me remove all the extra flex item that I created just now. I'll remove even more just to show you how justify content works. Now I have 3 flex items. Justify content accepts flex start. Nothing happens because by default the value of justify content is flex start. I'll remove them. Now I'll give it a value of flex end. Now they will move to the end of the container. If I give it a value of center, now they'll move to the center of the container. Now you can see there is a space on the left and right side of the child items. I can even distribute them. We can distribute them by giving a value of space between. Items are evenly distributed in the container, leaving no space at the start and the end. If I give value of space around, items are evenly distributed with equal space around them. If I give a value of space evenly, items are equally distributed with equal space around them and at the end and at the start. So justify content is basically to align content in the main axis. What if we want to align content along the cross axis? I'll give it a value of center and comment it out. You will know why. The next property to align content along the cross axis is align items. If I call it center, nothing happens. But if I go to the top and give a value of height 500 pixels, now you can see they are in the center along the cross axis. If I uncomment this, now you can see it is in center both main both along main axis and cross axis. Let me give it a value of flex start. Nothing happens because flex start aligns to the start of the cross axis. If I say flex end, items align to the end of the cross axis. The next property that we have for the container is align content, and all of the values that we can give to align content are same as we have for justify content. This property is similar to justify content, but it aligns the entire group of flex line if like there are multiple lines around the cross axis. Possible values include those who are listed for justify content, as I mentioned above. I'll simply uncomment this. And give it a value of wrap. And from here, I'll increase the flex item once again, and I'll give a value of space around. Now you can see it will move everything in the set. Now you can see it will move all of the lines if there are multiple lines. If I give it a value of center, now you can see all of the lines, if we have multiple lines, will be moved to the center. It is like working with justify content but on steroids. The next set of properties that we have are for child items, or we can say flex items. The number one is, let's give individual property to each of the flex item. I have flex 1, flex 2. So if I want to call only this, I'll use flex 1. Let's go over here and say flex 1. I'll give it. So the first property that we have for flex items is order. I'll simply type order. This property allows you to control the order in which flex items appear within the flex container. By default, all of the items have an order of 0. You can choose positive or negative integers to rearrange them. For example, I give a value of 3 to the flex 1. Now you can see it has been moved to the. So now the biggest value, as I mentioned, by default, all of the items have an order of 0. This means the flex 1 has an order value bigger than the rest of the items in container. So that's why it has been moved to the end. For example, there is another item that has a value of 3. What will happen? Now you can see, because in HTML, item 2 is after item 1. So that's why it will precede over here. The next property is flex grow. If I say flex grow, this property defines how much a flex item can grow relative to the rest of flex items when there is extra space available along the main axis. By default, the value is 0, meaning the item won't grow. A positive value distributes the space proportionally. If I give it a value of 3, now you can see I had a space available, and when I give it a value of 3, the available space had item 1 than the rest of the items. Another property that I have is flex shrink. This property defines how much a flex item can shrink relative to the rest of the items when there is a limited space along the main axis. By default, the value is 1, meaning all items will shrink equally. If I give it a value of 2, or let's say 3, now if I shrink them, now you can see item 1 is shrinking more as compared to the rest of the flex items. Now there is another property called flex basis. This property sets the initial size of a flex items before any available space is distributed. For example, if I set the value of flex basis to 100 pixel to 300 pixel, now you can see the initial size of this flex item has been changed. The next shorthand property that I have is flex. Flex basically stands for, this is the shorthand property that combines flex grow, flex shrink, and flex basis. This is basically the shorthand, which means the first value is going to be flex grow. The second value is going to be flex shrink. The third value is going to be flex basis. Now, if I type 100 pixel, this means flex grow is 1, flex shrink is 0, and flex basis is 100 pixel. Now, you can even have 2 values or 1 value, which you can understand by the help of PDF that I have given below in the description. There is another property that I forgot to mention, is basically gap. The one is row gap. I say row gap to 1 rem. There is no change because there is only 1 row. But if I set it to column gap, you can see there is a gap of 1 rem between each column. There's also a shorthand for column gap and row gap, which is only gap. If I say 1 rem, 2 rem, the first value is of row gap and the second value is of column gap. If you give only one value, It will be applied both to rows and columns. Understanding these properties is the key to mastering CSS Flexbox. The combination of parent container properties and the child items properties empowers you to create responsive layouts for your web projects. With Flexbox, you can build beautiful interfaces that adapt seamlessly to different screen sizes and devices. I hope this video was good for you. If you like it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to download the PDF in the description.